A lot of women are actually going through it. One, it could potentially be because one, they're not willing to settle. They do not want just a bare minimum kind of relationship. And so it was really unfortunate that she got a huge backlash from men. Have you ever been swallowed? Have you ever been swallowed? As a swallow. So if you have done it, let them lock him up. He's going to get another kind of swallowed. He's going to get another kind of swallowed in the jail cells. Oh, now everybody has it. Now it loses its exclusivity. Now I need to change my Fielbar and I need to find something else. Essentially, it's a cooler box that went to university. It's a cooler box that went to private school. TB, TD, Jakes, TB, Joshua. Do you see? 2024. This is a cult. The manipulation, the isolating you from your family and isolating you from everything you know, keeping you trapped in a certain environment. You know what I'm saying? Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. It is Just Katleho. Thank you so much for being here. As always, thank you for choosing me every single time. Thank you for choosing me every single time. We are in 2024. Are you excited? A little bit apprehensive, a little bit about, I don't know, I'm not sure. Listen, it's the beginning of the year. Don't be too hard on yourself, but hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited for this topic because I love talking about controversial trending topics, whether in the social space, the social media space, the entertainment space, the economic, political space. However, not so much political this time around, especially with regards to South African politics, but I will explain that to you a little bit later on in the video. So this is exciting. So happy to be doing this video. I'm filming two of my favorite videos today, and this is one of them. And I really want to get into it. Let's not waste any time. Is the power gone? I think it is. Anyway, so as I always do, I always say to you guys that I put something up on my community post or on my Instagram page. And I'm like, listen, if there's anything you'd like me to talk on or talk around, my opinion on all of that, I'm filming a controversial trending topics. Let me know, comment and let me know and all of that. So yeah, they definitely did come in this time around, so I'm really excited. I might particularly also split this video into two because there was a lot of things and we all know good sisters here. No holds barred, let's go. The first lady says, can you talk about the lady that was crying for companionship on TikTok? Sure.
It's 4:36. It's ridiculous that it's 4:36 and because I couldn't sleep around 2:30, I decided that I was gonna take a drive around Joburg just to declutter and figure out why I feel so sad. And on why I feel so fulfilled but also lonely at the same time. I'm fulfilled by the friendships that I have, the spaces that I go to, the things that I do. But when it comes to love or companionship, it just doesn't seem to be located. I saw this and first it was the lady who was crying about companionship, and then secondly it was Miss Xoxo who was talking about something similar to that in her channel, and it blew up, right? It blew up. Everybody was talking about it, stitching things, all of this, blah, blah, blah. And at first I could see that the overall consensus was, why is she putting this stuff up there? Why is she showing people moments of her crying in the early hours of the morning, or talking about how she's praying to God about finding a partner, finding a decent partner, all of this? Why is she even doing this? This is not okay. This is not appropriate and all of that. And I had a conversation with one of my friends about it. And my friend was saying that, hey man, I don't know how I feel about someone talking about, you know, how they feel in this aspect on social media. And as a content creator and somebody who is on social media, I have two things to say about this. Firstly,
it would be remiss of me as a content creator to say, no, there's certain things you shouldn't share, there's certain things you should share. I feel like if you are going to be in a social space, share whatever you want to share. All right. I think it's really important to also know that once you put yourself in the space where you are putting out content, you must know at the end of the day that open yourself up to lots of either disagreement, opposing views, people calling you out, people making fun of you, that kind of thing. So when I watched it with the eye of a content creator, and I thought, firstly, her editing is exceptional. This is fantastic, right? So she showed little clips here and there of her life and all of that, and then she showed those little moments where she was crying in the car, this, that, and the other, and she had a voiceover where she was talking about how intimate relationships is the one thing she seems to be struggling with outside of, everything else is going well. She's got great friends, she's got a great job, all of that. Firstly, what is the problem with women, especially, speaking to their camera, to their phone, to their this, whatever it may be, and actually sharing their emotions online? I feel like women a lot of the time are quite shunned for being very vulnerable on online spaces. And I don't know why, because I did say in one of my videos before that vulnerability, there's a power to it. Because what this girl did is actually demonstrate and showcase the reality of what a lot of women, especially in their 30s, that are single, maybe have a kid or two, blah, 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 but are struggling with intimate relationships, are actually going through. It's actually true. A lot of women are actually going through it. One, it could potentially be because, one, they're not willing to settle. They do not want just a bare minimum kind of relationship or a bare minimum kind of partner. Or maybe two, they just want the real thing, right? Or maybe three, they want somebody with money and all of this. We don't know the reasons why. Right? She didn't say the reasons why she is really struggling to find intimate relationships. However, I did not see what the problem was in her talking about it online. Now, people were probably barraging her, especially men. Men were barraging her, saying that, yeah, it's probably because you have high expectations, you're probably a gold digger, you're probably this, that, and the other. And it obviously made her feel some type of way, right? Because what if she's not? What if she's not? There is a desire for companionship. It's an innate human desire, right? We all want to have somebody around us. We all want to have an intimate relationship with somebody that we can talk to and trust and open up to and build a life with. Everybody wants that. How and in what package you want that to come in? Very different for many, many people. But I felt like, why are we shunning her? Why are we shooting her down because she's expressing, what she wants? However, I do also know as a content creator that you kind of need to open yourself up to a lot of vitriol, and you need to open yourself up to a lot of comments that might not be in your favor, especially with things of this nature. And so it was really unfortunate that she got a huge backlash from men. Otherwise, there was nothing wrong with what that girl had done. Absolutely nothing wrong. Okay, this lady says, TD Jakes and his scandal with P. Diddy. Swallow. Have you ever been swallowed? Have you ever been swallowed? As a swallow. Wow. Here's the thing about what is happening in late 2023, 2024. The exposés are insane. And am I happy to see that? Absolutely. Especially if it comes at the expense of vulnerable people now coming up to the forefront and actually talking about what these powerful people in very lucrative, rich, connected positions are doing. So it was quite shocking. I've never been a complete follower of TD Jakes. Have I watched 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 of his sermons on YouTube? Yes. Do I find that he is quite, he's very strong, he's very charismatic, and a lot of the time, people who come off that way, there's often a lot. There's often a lot, you know. Rich people drama and rich people sagas and scandals are often going to rear their head, especially if there is something to do with a scandal. So anybody who was connected to P. Diddy in that moment, we knew, you know, the moment Cassie was like, I'ma open Pandora's box and it's over for all of you. Not just Pete Diddy, but everybody who's connected to him. And man, did the building that was P. Diddy was raised to the ground. Do you understand what I'm saying? The building was just poof, and everything and everyone who was connected to him in any form, shape, whether with the trafficking, whether with the, because it was wild. It was wild. Now we're hearing about Swallowed and his very keen interest on little boys. Now we're hearing about that. And this is frightening stuff. And I feel like everything that happens in the dark always comes to light. Was I surprised? Of course I was. I think many people were surprised. 2024 is going to be the year of exposés, and I think it started a lot in 2023, towards the end of 2023. P. Diddy, am I surprised? No. Because if you watch his content, because if you watch his interviews and you watch his interview, I went down the wormhole here, the interviews with Cassie, and how he would look at her, right, and the things that he would say, that just made you raise your eyebrow, like, Peter, what you saying, man? What you saying? What's this daddy business? What is this? You know, so I feel like 2024 is going to be the year of reckoning and the year of exposés for many, many, many people. TD Jakes is only but one of them. But if anything ever does come out, listen, if the Bible doesn't say that, I mean, atonement for your sins, right? Punishment for your sins. So if you have done it, Mvalele, let them lock him up. Let them lock him up. He's going to get another kind of swallowed. He's going to get another kind of swallowed in the jail cells. Fielbar. Let me tell you about Fielbar. If you're not following me on TikTok, I highly suggest that you do, because I'm very open on TikTok. I say whatever I want to say. I'm very relaxed. I'm very funny. Okay, on TikTok, I pick up on certain things that are trending and I talk about it. One of the TikToks that is most highly viewed on my page is the Fieldbar TikTok. Why let's go thetwa o ska tlokiya di estropes le di veve le di moet Kenya culling black label Kenya Belgravia Kenya bona Savannah outlwa di Kenya Palpele Kenya autumn harvest Kenya whatever you want and la o sa ithole yona etsa mo lo reka ya Addis o ba kene o ska tlo tlhopa ka batho ba Fielbar le nna se ya ka ke ka dimme ke thola mo ke fitlang teng ke strateng ha ke tsebe ha se yaka ke tsona tse le buang ka tsona tse a ga soga le ska thetswa ke batho ba batho man reka Fielbar ha qetile o kenye palpele ya o ka re mo o enjoy December wena nana. So let me tell you, December, beginning of December, oh my God, Fielbar was Fielbaring. Do you understand what I'm saying? I went out and I was like, listen, I'm gonna talk about this because the whole context behind it was people were just upset, and it was mostly women that, yeah, no, you know, now I need to change my Fielbar because it seems like everybody is now using the Fielbar and this, and I was just like, and then what's the problem? I feel like this is a huge topic that maybe I might get into in a video or in a vlog, where the black middle class, especially with context to my country, the black middle class, or maybe just slightly above middle class, seems to have a serious issue when they see people now buying the things that they buy. Oh, now everybody has it. Now it loses its exclusivity. Now I need to change my Fielbar and I need to find something else. Now I need to whatever. So I did a TikTok saying, what is the problem? Why do you have such an issue with the fact that people are now buying themselves the Fielbar? I found it amazing. I found it exceptional, phenomenal. I was just looking at it and like, get that Fielbar, girl. Get that Fielbar and go to your picnic and live your best life and do the absolute most, because they are beautiful. Are they expensive? Yes, they are expensive. But why can't other people have expensive things too? Why? Why are you Fielbar? Look, you are going to arrive with your Fielbar. I'm going to arrive with my Addis. If you don't know what a Fielbar is a cooler box, essentially. It's a cooler box that went to university. It's a cooler box that went to private school. You know how we talk about how Kelvin Momo is the private school, Oxford educated piano artist, right? Fielbar is the cooler box that definitely went to university, private, Stanford, Oxford, Cambridge. Nudity and corn everywhere on the X app. Boobs and bums galore. Oh, Nkosiam. I don't know which part of the X app you gone down. Which trap hole system have you gone down in the X app? Because I don't see that. I don't see that, and I genuinely think you might have exposed yourself a little bit here, because I genuinely think it's the algorithms play a huge role in social media apps and in social media, checking what it is that you watch and what it is that you blah, 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 and it forwards through things to you that you typically would engage with. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see any of that. The only time I do see that is maybe if Chris XL puts up something with his boobs and all of that, and I just keep scrolling. But it doesn't naturally just randomly come across on my TikTok app, on my X app, because I will have had to have gone down the wrong hole. You hear my chat? I think you done exposed yourself, girl. How fake and pretentious Instagram has become is really sad for our generation. Let me tell you something for free. I got onto TikTok a lot in the last maybe 2-3 months of 2023, and I've realized I enjoy more being on TikTok than I do on Instagram. Instagram has this, and I'm gonna do a TikTok about it today. I am. Instagram has this more like you have to curate your life. Everything must come across as perfect. Everything must come across as if it's looking fantastic, as if your life is fantastic. Every time you come onto Instagram, you have to have makeup on, or you must be dressed really well, or your hair must be on point. You gotta have lashes on, you gotta have this. Whereas on TikTok, there's a sense of normalcy. It feels like you're chatting, engaging with, random people that have 9-to-5 that go to work and then come back and want to give their opinion on something. It's fun. I typically don't go onto TikTok to watch like dancing videos and all of that, so it doesn't necessarily pop up in my algorithm. But when certain things are trending, whether in the States or this side, and it's creating a lot of engagement and conversation, that's the kind of stuff that I see on TikTok, and that's the kind of stuff that I like to have an opinion on, the things that I like to speak on. I like to speak on the rights of women and what women should be doing for themselves, and how, women should be standing in their business. And so because of that, I see a lot of things that are linked to that, or the relationshipy kind of stuff as well, self-love kind of stuff as well. But TikTok has become really this platform where, for me personally, where you can just be yourself. But you also start to see the creativity that people have, right? Just yesterday, I saw a really big TikTok creator, South African creator, take something that I had said in one of my previous TikToks, and she used it. So she used the audio clip of what I said, and she put it, and she was talking and putting on her, I'll put it somewhere. PSA. Because it seems like I'm seeing all these stories on TikTok about, oh, my friend was with my man and this and blah, blah, blah. First and foremost, why does your friend have your man's number? Why does your man have your friend's number? Why are you friends with your man's friends? Why is your man friends with your friends? Why? Nna ke kopa ho lefa PSA gale ke phela. That is not necessary. The only person who should have your man's number and vice versa is maybe a family member of yours, just in case of emergencies. Yeah. Mara mokgotsi ka mabaka afe mabaka afe. Then jiggy you are surprised. Your friend and your man are friends on Instagram and on TikTok. And jiggy, hey, they are part of their close friends. Your friend is busy there doing the thirst traps and attention traps and all of this. You are not even part of your friend's close friends on social media. But your man is. Why le batla ho utlwa ka dinko? Le sa batla ho utlwa ka ditsebe. That thing, it's not okay. Yeah, she was talking and putting on her skincare and all of that, and I was like, this is so freaking smart. Like, I was just sitting there thinking, this is so cool, you know. So you get to see how talented and imaginative people are on TikTok, how smart, how funny, you know. Whereas on Instagram, it's just, it's kind of like, if you don't have money, if you don't have exclusivity, if you're not pretty, if you don't have great clothes, if you don't have whatever, then you can't sit with us. I feel like it's it's not inclusive like TikTok is. It's actually very exclusive. So I don't like being on Instagram much anymore. And so because of that, I've just kind of found an outlet on TikTok that I absolutely love. So yeah, voting. Here's the one that I spoke about earlier on when I began the video. Now, in South Africa this year, there's going to be voting. Yay! Now, a lot of people put in some suggestions for me to talk about Mallela, ANC, what's happening, Zuma, all of this, the comments of Mallela and all of this. I'm going to refrain from speaking about anything with regards to politics in South Africa in this video. The reason being, up until we vote, the reason being is because I don't ever want to find myself in the position where I have influenced someone and their vote, or influenced or imparted some kind of information in someone that might make them change their way of, you know, voting, or the party that they want to vote for, or the person they want to vote. I don't want to do that, and it's a very sensitive topic in the country right now. Will I speak about it afterwards? Definitely, but right now, no. And it's just me being very self-aware about how it is a very important thing to talk about, and I will get into voting right now. But when it comes to talking about the politics of the country currently, no, because there is a lot that I can say or not say that might influence someone's vote, or might influence someone's decision to vote or not to vote, and I don't want to do that. Okay, now moving on to the voting. Register to vote if you haven't. Register to vote, vote. Give your somebody said to me that, Kat, could you talk about how, there's a lot here. That's why I'm going to do 2 videos. I think it's best to just do 2 videos. But someone was also talking about the right to vote and not to vote. Here's the thing about voting. You absolutely have the right to vote or not to vote. No one's going to tell you twice. If you don't want to get up on the voting day and go and stand in the queue and stand with the people and make friends and make nice with the people in the queue, then you don't have to. If you want to, then absolutely do. You have the right to vote or to not vote. However, and this is a standard, and this is what is said in every country where voting takes place. Your vote is your voice, right? If you know that there are many things that are happening in the country right now that you are not okay with, that you are not privy to, that you're not grand about it, and you feel like it might have something to do with the person in power or the party in power, then get your ass up and vote. But if you're not going to vote, then if you find yourself in political discussions, and if you find yourself in woke TikTok where people are talking about politics and all of that, blah, 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 I would highly suggest that you keep your political comments to yourself. Because the moment anybody finds out that, oh, well, but you don't vote, it kind of negates and kind of just crushes every opinion and point that you might want to add when it comes to the politics of the country or what happens in the country. Can you have an opinion about people and the way that the country is being ran? Yes. But in a voting year where you have an opportunity to actually say, look, I don't know, man, it's one vote, it's 2-3 votes, it's one vote. It's my word, it's my voice. Let me just do it. You know, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You're just one person in 50-something million people, but it's fine. Just do it anyway. So I think your vote is your voice. But if you don't want to vote, you don't have to either. Because I do also understand that when you're stuck in a conundrum, when you're stuck in a really catch-22 position where you're just like, okay, but even if I did want to vote, who do I vote for? I get that too. I get that too. It is a really sticky situation, especially in the country. Like, even if I did want to vote, who do I vote for though? Which party will I feel like my vote is most safest and I'm comfortable with voting for those people or that party? I understand. TB Joshua expose. Whoa, I got a lot on this one as well. Got a lot. Don't know enough, but know enough to actually say something. Even as small or menial as it is, I know enough to say something, right? So, wow. I woke up this morning. I typically wake up in the very early hours of the morning, and because I saw this on my community tab and I saw quite a number of people had mentioned that they would like me to share my thoughts on the TB Joshua expose that was on YouTube via BBC documentary channel. Listen, let me tell you, I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and I watched it. I watched the first 2 episodes. I'm right now halfway through episode 3. My story with TB Joshua, not particular story, right? I didn't know about TB Joshua until that horrendous, just heartbreaking building that was razed to the ground, right? His guest house, where I believe most of the people who would come to see him from different countries and all of that would stay. Before that, I knew nothing about who you see, TD Jakes, TB Joshua. Do you see? 2024. Yay! TB Joshua, right? I didn't know anything about him. Before, up until that time. And then I started watching the news. Then I started reading up about it and who he was and all of this. And then I watched the documentary. Okay? And when I watched the documentary, the first thing that stood out to me, it's heartbreaking. It's an absolutely heart-wrenching documentary. Not only that, it will make you mad. Oh, it'll piss you off. I was so mad when I was watching that documentary in the beginning. Just the episode 1, right? The first part of this documentary, I watched it, and as somebody who watches true crime and as somebody who is absolutely encapsulated and fascinated by cults, immediately just watching that one episode, I was like, this was a cult. This was a cult. Cults thrive on having a head honcho, TB Joshua, right? A head honcho who is going to be incredibly manipulative, who's going to be strong and extremely charismatic, who's going to make sure that they bring things, information to the world, whether they use it via religious practices as pastors, TD Joshuas and all of that, or as your Joseph Coneys who took in child soldiers. There's different forms of cults, okay? As your John Smith, is it John Smith? He's the one who took 200 or 300 people, moved them from the United States to Guyana and killed all of those people. Well, some were able to get out, but most of them, they took a drink like a punch, and he made sure that his people gave these people who followed him because they believed that he was a man of God. All of them are called men of God. If you realize that all of them are called men of God, and in many cases, they'll say in the Bible it says, but you'll never really see them read it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm saying specifically in culty-ishy situations. Okay, they're called men of God, like Bobushiri. I knew nothing about Bobushiri because I'm Catholic. I follow what happens in my religion, and that's it. And maybe some people from different religions would come back and say, well, Catholics have a cultism. I don't know. Hey, each to their own. But there's different types of cults. But immediately when I watched episode 1, I was like, this is a freaking cult. Straight up. This is a cult. The manipulation, the isolating you from your family and isolating you from everything you know, keeping you trapped in a certain environment. You know what I'm saying? Then also being charismatic and doing all these crazy stunts. I mean, to those who believed, they believed. To those who believed. But me, the pragmatic me says, how do you come back and say, somebody comes to you and says they are HIV positive and then they leave your church HIV negative? How? To me, that didn't make sense. But now I'm watching it from outside this environment. I'm watching it from outside this church. It made me mad. Then I moved into episode 2, and that's where you get a better understanding of what happened within the walls of the... I don't even know the name of the church. And I was hearing it. Of TB Joshua's church. The synagogue of all nations. Something. I don't know. You know what then you saw in episode 2 was what was happening within the walls. And what he was doing to those women. And what he was doing to those children. And what he was doing to those people. And then it took on an element of sexual assault. And then it was, there you go. That's another tick on the cultish, men of God, men whatever. This is what they do. Let me tell you, Netflix has a plethora of documentaries that you can watch on cults. And all of them have the same. So what really broke me are the stories of the women who worked with him, who completely gave their lives to him. And then the element of witchcraft that came in there as well. Listen, things like that, I do not subscribe to. I do not follow. I do not read up on or believe in. I do not. I absolutely do not. Do I believe in ancestors? Do I believe in a generation of people that came before you and all of that? Yes. Do I believe in witchcraft? I refuse to even let my mind think that way. So when I saw that, I was just like, wow. It's tragic. It's tragic. It's tragic, and it's really, really, really hard to watch, especially that documentary. I'm typically not somebody who's going to rejoice in the death of someone. It's just not me. That's just not who I am. But what I can say is good riddance. Good riddance that he's gone. What is unfortunate is I do not know if the church is still operating in this time. I believe it is, because I saw this morning that the wife had something to say. I haven't had the time to follow it up as I've been working all day, but I'll check it out. But it needs to burn. It needs to burn. If the leader of that church is responsible for assaulting so many people and for the deaths of all the nationals that died in that guest house of his, that was a just looking at it, it was a monstrosity. It was a structural nightmare. As somebody who is in construction, looking at that was a structural nightmare. Just seeing how high it was, and also how tall it was, but also how narrow it was, the structural foundation, there was no way. There was absolutely no way. It was a hard one to watch. It was a hard one to watch. And our deepest condolences to all the people who have passed because of this man, and our deepest sorrows and well wishes and words of comfort to the ones who have to bear the scars of TB Joshua. Good riddance. I'm not gonna laugh on someone's grave, and that's just not me. I find that it's just not me. It's just not me. All right, I'm going to end this first part of controversial trending topics here, and I'm going to make the second part the following video, but it's going to come consecutively in my content. So I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of controversial trending topics. I'm gonna head on into part 2 now. Until then, if you did enjoy it, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, please become a member, because there is membership content coming, guys. I'm still trying to get started with the year. I'm still trying to there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do, but there is definitely content coming. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Thank you so much, as always, for choosing me over and over again. Until the next one, I will see you very, very soon. Until then, sayonara.